Who doesn't love some good fried chicken? Crispy, crunchy, and darn savory. I know better than anybody. My love for fried chicken is like on a whole nother level. Like sing about it, dream about it, write poetry about it. The thought of not following a stranger with fried chicken in their hands confused me as a child. And yet, one movie almost successfully shattered my feelings for fried chicken. And that movie was... I loved and still love this movie, a clever film about breaking free from oppression, friendship, and being a leader. It was funny, charming, and a little bit traumatizing. That axe scene traumatized me so bad when I was younger, and it really set the tone for the movie and what was really at stake for the characters. Apparently, I wasn't the only one who liked this movie, because it's still the highest grossing stop motion movie to date, a medium that feels like it could easily fade away because of financial reception. Even though Artman's work always feels irresistibly charming. I mean, I love me some Were Rabbit.
Chunga 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 hoo chunga hoo.
And I don't think they produce a bad movie to date. Oh yeah, I just said that. Still, the box office can be tough, though studios like Artman and Laika still do it because they respect and love the craft. A very painstaking craft that takes years of meticulousness to complete, but so worth it for the final product. I also know they're probably glad for technology that has definitely aided the workload over the years. Which brings me to Chicken Run 2: The Dawn of the Nugget, which has to be one of the most out of nowhere movies of 2023. Like, raise your hand if you were begging for a Chicken Run sequel. Yeah, me neither. Yet the idea of one had me intrigued, add that to the movie posters they made to promote it, and I wanted to see if Artman could pull out another banger. And technically they did, just maybe not as much of a banger as the first movie. I know, big shock. This time around, the ambiguously relationship status Ginger and Rocky have a daughter named Molly who, like her mother, is very of interest, maybe a little too of interest, to the point of deliberately disobeying her parents by going out into the real world and getting toted off to a technologically advanced Nugget factory governed by the returning and menacing Miss Tweety. So I feel like it's important to discuss people's general reaction to sequels because now, like most sequels that come out this year or ever, I suspect most of the discourse surrounding the movie will not be about how good it is on its own, but rather constantly needing to compare it to its predecessor, which is very common and generally the critical climate when it comes to sequels. It just can also create a bunch of needless nitpicking and aggravation that kind of brings down both films in the process. Sometimes it can be better to realize both movies can be good and enjoyable for what they are. Seriously, we don't have to keep constantly comparing the Spider-Verse movies. They're both amazing in different ways. What I just said might be a bit premature though, considering just how alike the first movie and Dawn of the Nugget are, especially the third act, which I guess I won't spoil. Though the first movie is probably constructed a bit tighter narratively, I still had a lot of fun with this film, mostly thanks to how beautifully animated it was across the board. Comparing the color palette from this movie to the first one is like night and day. It just feels so vibrant and expressive, like top tier eye candy. And I'm not sure if it's just me, but even some of the character movements felt smoother in comparison to some of their previous films. As with all stop motion, the movie's visuals are kind of what make everything else, especially the humor, which is consistently chuckle-worthy.
Anyone have a match?
Yeah, you and a raving loot.
Well done, you old sausage.
Firm handshake will do.
One of my favorite scenes in the movie is the chickens breaking into the factory, which has such a goofy and clever campiness that only Artman could pull off, and had me constantly going, who thought of this? And though the recasting has caused a lot of controversy apparently, A, a good amount of the cast does return, B, a lot of the replacements sound decent, and C, because the writing and tone felt the same as the first movie, it didn't bother me a ton. The deadbeat wife from Pursuit of Happiness does a good job as Ginger, even though the producers kind of did her original voice actor dirty. The only voice that felt occasionally weird to me at times is Shazam as Rocky. Like, he doesn't do a bad job per se, just a really passable job. The composer of the Shrek films, Harry Gregson Williams, does an amazing job recapturing the magic of the original score, taking a lot of influence from espionage, especially Mission Impossible. Man, I love some of these pieces, just as much as I appreciated them not shying away from the cutthroatness of the food industry. Nothing really reaches the level of darkness as the axe scene, but it does represent some decent stakes for the characters. And to wrap it up nicely, the film also has some really good messages about the struggles of parenthood, wanting to protect your children, but also knowing when the right time is to let them explore the world. So was I hoping for a tad bit more? Sure, but again, still a really fun time seeing these characters again. And the new characters are pretty likable too. I really like Molly and how she was able to lead for a good chunk of the movie, and her friend Frizzle was pretty funny too, even though I couldn't understand what she was saying for like half of it. It may drag a bit in the middle, but it eventually finds its footing towards the end, and you know, again, just a really fun time. It really is a movie equivalent of a good plate of chicken tenders and fries, just the prepackaged kind. Speaking of which, my vegan arc is beginning now, where my next vids will only be about animal injustice, dancing, and calling out YouTubers and celebrities for living their lives. Good night, everybody. 3.5 out of 5 buckets of fried chicken. I really hope stop motion never dies. It's such a good medium. You can do so much with it, and yet even though it has its limitations, it always feels so warm and just inviting. Anyways, this movie also inspired me to like think twice before I eat that next piece of meat. That is saying a lot for a person like me. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you're feeling good, hit that subscribe and like button. I mean, even dislike if you want, and I will see you all soon. Bye.